I think the stats are frankly going to shock a lot of people.
I want to get it for the 2007, 2008 prices. That's what the buyers are thinking.
People are selling themselves on this narrative of what is going to happen tomorrow. It's time to finally address it and unveil the curtain on it.
We got a lot to talk about today. We're doing it again. It's happening. You ready? Let's do it. Okay. Well, we've got some really fun stuff to talk about. What did you bring for today's conversation?
Well, today we went on to Ask Me Anything Reddit post, and it was this realtor, and I thought it was kind of funny. So I said, okay, well, what are some common questions that we get asked?
Yeah.
And so I got 5 for buyers, 5 for sellers. The thing is, since we put so much educational content out, we could talk about this for hours. Right? Catches, we got 30 seconds on each question.
So there's no making stuff up. There's no edits. There's no nothing. We gotta get do it.
One to say no BS take on these questions.
All right.
Here we go.
I love
That's what I got.
Okay, so you got that. I got a few things that I wanted to bring up. One of the things we're gonna get into the stats. I think the stats are frankly gonna shock a lot of people. Some people are going to be rooting for what I'm going to tell them, or what you're going to share with them, rather. Some people are going to be highly disappointed by them. Their reality. There's no point in sugarcoating them. There's a lot of stuff coming up, so we're going to talk about that. But we're going to talk about a little bit about some of the challenges in the market. I think that people are going to have with those, and we'll go from there. Perfect. Sound good?
Let's do it, man.
All right. So couple things actually I wanted to chat about with you, or maybe the good people listening or chatting. What are the big things that you and I have been working really, really hard on lately is what?
As our Instagram.
Instagram. Yeah. So we have really been pushing to try and do a lot of our kind of short form educational content on our Instagram channel. We got some funny stuff on there. We're trying to be better for the people that we serve and the communities that we serve. So if anybody has not had the chance to check out our Instagram, please go do. We'll make sure it's linked in the show notes. You are working very hard on it. You're taking care of more of the funny stuff still, and it's good. It's like really good. So people need to check that out.
Yeah.
And go over there. And of course, for those watching online on the YouTube channel, you don't always have to watch it on YouTube. What could you do?
You can go on our podcast that we have.
That's right. So Real Estate on Tap, it's a podcast. We'll leave the link for that. It's on all the big podcatchers, Apple, Amazon, Spotify, all that sort of stuff. So you can catch a lot of our content, especially kind of our bigger thinking content. What's going on in British Columbia real estate, really macro level type stuff on that podcast as well. So go check it out. So all good. Actually, this is a question that people have been asking you lately as well, and I think it's good for us to address it right now. Actually, why don't we tell people what we're drinking? Oh, we do got
Yeah, well, this one here,
a little watery,
yeah, it's straight out of our college days. So this is a nice, crispy Coors Light.
and that's what happens when you don't have time to run to the beer store. Mind you, hey, Coors Light serves a purpose.
It does, man.
It's good for when you want something like that. So this is one thing that I've been getting asked regularly, and I think it's time to finally address it and unveil the curtain on it. And I'm getting questions all the time about, do you guys only help home buyers and home sellers in White Rock and South Surrey now? So it's an interesting question. And the reason that people are feeling like that is a lot of the branding that we've been working on over the last couple of years. So we have rebranded our entire website around Surrey, South Surrey, White Rock. Our YouTube channel is largely Surrey, South Surrey, White Rock. Our Instagram channel is what? Surrey, White Rock. And the other area. Yeah. So the question is, do we still help people in other areas of the lower mainland? So the answer to that is, of course. Yeah, of course we do. This business that we built over the years, it is largely based on people introducing us to their friends and family because we did such a good job for them. They want their other friends, family, coworkers, whatever, to have great experiences as well. So, in the world of marketing, however, if you try to be something to everybody, you are nothing to everybody. You need to pick an audience. You need to be very specific. Otherwise, nobody hears your message. So we have made the decision, because we both live in South Surrey and White Rock. We both made the decision that we were going to focus our marketing efforts specifically on those areas. This doesn't mean that we automatically forget everything that we've ever done, know, and still educate ourselves about in Langley
Exactly.
or Delta
Yeah.
or Ladder.
Or Norwest, yeah.
Yeah, or
Burnaby,
right. Yeah. So for anybody that's kind of had that question or had that concern, I think that probably sums it up pretty good. So
Yeah.
you're going to see a lot of stuff pumped out specifically about those areas because we are trying to have people hear us in our marketing rather than just being another voice in the crowd that has no real kind of direction at the light or in the night sort of thing. So, anyways, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
What is coming up on September the 17th?
It's the rate cut we're all looking forward to.
Yes. So will it happen? Will it not? You can follow our Instagram. We'll obviously post about that right away, sort of thing. But there is a lot of people kind of banking that that is going to be the case. The Federal Reserve, the U.S. Federal Reserve, is also going to be making an announcement that day as well. So we will have to wait and see what happens. But there's a pretty good chance from everything that's come out, everything that we're reading, there was some big inflation data out of the United States that certainly they're probably not looking forward to. But nonetheless, anyways, we will hear from both of them, coming up very, very soon. And a lot of people, especially economists and people that pay really close attention to all the metrics that have influence on that sort of thing, are projecting that we're going to get a little bit of a change.
That's what I'm hearing too.
Yeah. Now, what's impact going to have on rates? Okay. So, will that impact variable rates?
It's a good question.
Yeah, well, absolutely, right? So it's gonna impact variable rates because if the Bank of Canada moves, the variable rate will move down.
That's right.
Is it gonna impact fixed rates? Probably not.
No.
Right? We are not mortgage professionals, but as you would expect, after 18 years of selling real estate and 9 years of selling real estate, we work pretty closely with them and we follow all that stuff.
That's right.
If you don't understand how that sort of stuff works, speak to your mortgage professional and whatnot because the fixed rates are tied to something much different than what the Bank of Canada does. That's it. Fair statement.
There it is.
Okay. The thing I wanted to talk to you about, I've been using this word a lot lately. What's like my word of the day? Toilet paper sort of thing. It's hopia.
Oh,
Hopia.
we actually just made a video that will be coming out next week, I believe. So make sure you check out our Instagram for that video.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot coming out on this in the next little bit. Do you want to explain what hopium is?
No, I'll let you waste that. Yeah.
No, I want to hear your own words. I want to know what you think it is.
So a hopium to me is a drug that some people take in order to think that there's just going to be something around that corner. They're taking it hoping for something better.
Right.
That's what hopium to me sounds like.
Right. Yeah, hopium to me is like this false narrative that people tell themselves. And whatever situation they find themselves in, they are relying on hope, faith, whatever that might be, to get the outcome that they're looking for, rather than doing what could be done, should be done, might be already done
Yeah.
in the here and now.
That's it.
And this is something that I'm experiencing like in spades right now as we continue to navigate this challenging real estate market. I was looking at some data that yesterday, I think the numbers largely mirror right now what was happening in the financial crash, the great crash of 2008. Now, when I say crash, I'm not talking about pricing. That's a different thing because prices did get impacted quite heavily during that time. They have been impacted during this time, but not nearly as heavily. But the sales and the listings really closely mirror it, really closely. So we've got one of the highest amount of listings we've had in 30 years in the real estate market. Think of the people that have moved into British Columbia, specifically the Lower Mainland. Think of the amount of new properties that have been constructed, and the sales are the same as when they were in 2008. That is nuts.
That is nuts.
Now, the listings are about as high as they've ever been as well. And so the listings have just like shot up. So you've got this big gap there, right? So the reason I bring that up, this hopium drug that I'm starting to kind of communicate more with people that I run into, is this hopium drug of them thinking that the future is going to look different than today. Okay. And this is for both home buyers and for home sellers. Both are taking this drug right now. What's an example of what a home buyer is thinking right now?
I want to get it for the 2007, 2008 prices. That's what the buyers are thinking.
Absolutely. Or the market tomorrow might be significantly less than what it is today.
That's right.
Sellers, on the flip side of that, the hopium that they're taking is that there was a high watermark set at some point, and surely the market is guaranteed at some point to come back to that, and likely it's going to happen soon.
That's right.
That's what I am experiencing.
Hmm.
This is a funny thing that I'm getting with people when I sit down with them. We all agree, I think everybody agrees, we don't know what will happen tomorrow, right? Like, you show me your crystal ball and all that sort of stuff, and like we're right more often than we're wrong, but nobody knows, right? Nobody knows. Nobody knows what's going to happen with interest rates. Nobody knows what's going to happen with real estate prices. We all agree on that. So when I sit with people, we agree on that, right? We do not know what's going to happen tomorrow. While we don't agree is that while we agree that we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, the only narrative that people are willing to accept is that the market is going to come back, right? And the interesting thing I feel about that is, show me your crystal ball. Show me the guarantee that you got when you bought your home. Show me the guarantee you're getting today if you're looking to buy a home that the market is going to continue the way it is. People are selling themselves on this narrative of what is going to happen tomorrow, and they're not considering either the advantages or the disadvantages that exist today, and they only believe that they are going to improve for whatever they're trying to do. So whether they're trying to buy a home, they only believe that the market is going to continue to soften in price. If they're trying to sell a home, they only believe that the market is going to go back up in price, and very, very soon. There's no acceptance that things could continue the way that they have been going. So like a home seller would be an example of that. What guarantee you have that the home you have, the prices got far, far too high at some point, and they were not done resetting back to where normal is? What guarantee do you have that you're going to get whatever price that you've selected in your head? Home buyer, same thing. What guarantee do you have that the market's going to continue to move in a direction, and now is not the best time? A month from now is not the best time. The best time maybe is already passed, and there's markets that have increased in value month over month. There is no guarantee. So I see all these people working on these what ifs instead of the data that they have in front of them. The data that they have in front of them is all that we know to be true. And you need to be prepared to make decisions based on what that is. Now, that's not to say that you can't choose to wait. That's okay. But what you do need to do is you need to accept the risks. What's the risk of a home buyer not acting today in your eyes?
Yeah. So if they don't act today and the market gets busier, more people are going to come to the market. Therefore, prices may go up. Is that where we're going with that one?
Yeah, well, 100%. But yeah, like if I put a home buyer into a room with no windows and one light bulb hanging from the ceiling and a notepad, and I said, I want you to describe the most perfect conditions in a real estate market to purchase a home in, it would look very much like it is today,
Mhm.
right? It would be almost like word for word, exactly how the story reads, right?
Yep.
Tons of inventory, prices are down, sellers are fearful, interest rates have come down, all that sort of stuff, right?
Right.
It looks very, very similar to what it has today. The advantage of them waiting. So let's say, somebody's waiting to buy a home, and I was looking at some condominiums the other day where the market over the last 6 months have come down about $20,000 for these condominiums in my particular neighborhood. Okay. So they waited 6 months of paying rent, or a person may have waited 6 months of paying rent as an example. But who's to say that the market might not change tomorrow? Okay. And what happens if the market starts to improve? Well, now you have more people that want to buy. You've got less selection. You've got more competition on the better listings. Do you think you're going to negotiate once sellers get wind of that, if that was to happen? Do you think sellers are still going to be as prepared to negotiate as strongly as they are today?
Definitely not.
We just negotiated an offer on a detached home in Surrey. We got $100,000 off the asking price. If the conditions were to change or the narrative was to change even slightly, do you think you're getting $100,000 off the asking price in that case?
No chance.
You probably would get normally like 25,000,
Yeah, a few percent.
right? Because the seller in that case is making up for where they're fearful of the market going, right? So when if and when that was to happen, what is riskier for the buyer? And I'm not, this isn't pro like run out and buy sort of thing, but nobody seems to want to weigh those things. In a seller's case, let's flip the script a little bit. The market continues to soften. Well, there's people out there that need to move. They have to move for various reasons, or it makes a lot of sense for their family at this current time. But they're holding on to this narrative that their house owes them something, or the prices are going to come back to where they were, and they might. We don't know. We don't know, right? Nobody knows. That's key. But what if it doesn't? What if the high water mark was way too high and the prices end up coming down even further? And that's where the new normal is. And we sit in that new normal for the next 6 years or whatever that might be. Think of your family, right? Let's say you guys want to upgrade into a bigger space. Would you rather deal with what you have now, or would you rather live in that same condition for the next 6 months, next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, whatever that might be? And the amount of people that aren't willing to accept that the market can go that way, because it's been going that way for quite some time, right? Versus the people who are actually saying, this is the data, I can see what's happening. There's a good chance that it probably won't be as good tomorrow as it is today. So I'm going to put my house in a position to transact today rather than just hope and pray. It's astounding to me. It's absolutely astounding to me. The high water mark that prices did in like 2022, that set a price anchor. It's called a price anchor, right? So now and what that does, that creates loss aversion, right? We feel like we are losing money. And this happened with everybody. This happened with everybody's property. My home, I could have got this at one point. Well, I mean, the amount of times I hear that is incredible. I'm even guilty of that as well too. But as am I.
Everyone does.
As am I. As am I. I am guilty of it as well. So we have this loss aversion saying, well, or we had this price anchor rather that says like, well, I could have got that. And then we start feeling what's called loss aversion. Well, I've already lost $100,000. I don't want to lose anymore. And then the mentality is, well, I'm going to price my home at a price that I think it should transact for without any regard for what the rest of the community is doing, characteristically similar homes, all that sort of stuff. This is in the eyes of a seller, okay? This is called the endowment effect, okay, in psychology. Do you know what the word endowment means? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Endowment. I'm not gonna make it. No.
No, it's okay now. All right, you know what? Be fair, I don't know that I could describe it either. But the endowment effect is like it's like loss aversion. Okay, so there was a study done. This is really interesting. There was a study done where the psychologist gave people coffee mugs, and there was other coffee mugs that were available. The coffee mugs that they gave people, so it was theirs. It was theirs. They didn't want to lose anything. They figured that the value of those coffee mugs at the end of the study were double the value of the same coffee mugs that didn't belong to them. That's the endowment effect. Okay. So this is what's happening with people. It's the endowment effect. My house owes me something. I could have, or I should have, or I would have got this at that time with very little regard for what the market's actually doing and what the actual, the buyers are thinking of specific properties and the values of which to actually allow them to transact. Right now, I don't want to suggest it's that easy. Selling a home is a highly emotional thing. There's lots of opinion. There's lots of emotion involved. It's not easy. And sometimes it's not easy to really see through those clouds and whatnot. But in a market where you're going to share the statistics fairly soon, in a market where you're seeing these numbers slowly get worse day over day, and it's not going to be forever. I don't know when that's going to stop. Do you?
No.
Tell me the day. I want to know. Yeah. Right. But when that looks like that will be true tomorrow for most types of products and most markets, it's not for every product, but for a lot of them it is. What's better? Is it better to let the market continue to burn? Or is it better to make a decision based on what you know to be true? Yeah. And you know what? To be fair, there's no right or wrong answer for that. It's really up to them. It's their, there's a preference. It's their property, whether you're buying or selling. It's your decision. But you need to think of the risks involved of inaction as well. So that is my soapbox for the day.
Oh, brand done.
But I think that'll really help anybody who is considering selling a property or even considering buying a property right now. You've got to get some of the emotion out of the way if you actually want to accomplish the goal. And that's where a lot of people get hung up, I think. Let's say you want to upgrade your property.
Yeah.
I don't care if your home is worth $2 or $2 million. If you can get the money out of it that you need to move to where you want to go, perfect. Okay. But you've got to go somewhere. What has happened to the home you want to buy? It's also coming down. It's also coming down, right? So if you're paying less for what you want to buy, can you still accomplish your goal of getting your family into that bigger home in this example? No. The answer would be yes, right? Sorry. Who cares what the homes are worth? So, right, if you can accomplish the goal, that's what the important part is. And don't get me wrong, money's important. Like I don't discount that. But a lot of people, they're upgrading their circumstances. They want the absolute most for their home. They want to buy the absolute most for the property. Don't forget that properties come down as well. But if you can still accomplish your goal and make that happen within reason,
Mhm.
then it makes a lot of sense,
That's right.
right? So
You have a very, well, not famous, but famous to me is you have a very good saying of the tide rises and lowers all ships, right? So it doesn't matter what the market is doing. What matters is if the prices are super hot and the sellers aren't getting what they want for it, well, they're just going to have to turn around on the buy side. Yeah, you have to spend all that money that they would have saved,
right.
and then vice versa.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
It is. It's very rare. Like if you look at the graphs for how all the property types, condo, townhomes, detached have moved, they've moved in unison. Always, right? So, for those upgrading, downgrading sort of thing, the numbers aren't perfect, like, but they've moved in unison. So you're not losing, like most people are not getting out of the market. They're not selling their house and completely cashing out. And if you're doing that too, you've probably owned your home for a while and it's done very well for you. Right. So, anyways, it's very, very interesting to me. It's an interesting mentality. It's something everybody's struggling with in this market and under these market conditions. But if you kind of strip all of that back and you think about the risks involved of inaction, and there are risks to inaction because we do not know what's going to happen. Exactly. Right. And I don't. I'll be the first to admit that you don't, but nobody does.
That's it.
Hopium is a drug that can be very, very expensive and burn a lot of people.
Wow. Rant over on opium. It rant over. Yeah, it's hard to get. Why don't we do mine is a little bit lighter.
Yeah. Well, why don't we do the stats first?
Sure.
If you're open for it, and then we'll just do it fun in the end. Totally. Yeah. Because maybe the stats will help sell the point that I'm talking.
That's it. And I feel that I'm going to let you take a break for it talking because you had a really good mark there. So I'm going to take over the buy side, the buyer questions, and you take the seller question.
Okay.
Well, a lot of negatives in most of these categories here. So first things first.
Riddle me this before you get started. Okay. I like being right. For the property types you're about to mention, we do 3-month numbers.
Yep.
But you can quickly scan these right now.
Yep.
1-month numbers, month over month for the kind of the main areas sort of thing. Are any of them in positive territory?
No.
That's all I wanted. All right. What have we got?
There you go. So 3 months. We're going to go detached first. We're going to go apartments in the lower mainland were minus 3.1. Fraser Valley minus 3.5. Townhomes in the lower mainland minus 2.6 and minus 3.0 in the Fraser Valley. And for detached homes or single family, minus 2.6% in the lower mainland and a 3% flat minus in the Fraser Valley.
Okay, so we're pretty consistent over the last 3 months.
Around the 2 to 3% up down.
Yeah,
You're right.
Okay.
Now these numbers are going to be a little bit more shocking, almost double. So we're looking at in the 1-year change in apartments in the lower mainland or minus 4.6%. And in the Fraser Valley, we're almost at minus 6%. That's 60 grand for $1 million. Right. So I'm going to call this on $1 million, but
Yeah.
it's just an easy number for me to use. Yeah. Townhomes in the lower mainland minus 3.7 and then Fraser Valley minus 4.5. So a little bit more positive in the townhome space, but we feel that anecdotally as well.
Yeah, well, we've talked a lot about that being the missing middle, so it'll probably be the busiest of the areas, for affordability and space reasons, right?
For sure. And then to top it all off, the single family in the lower mainland minus 4.9. And in the Fraser Valley, we're almost at 6% as well, 5.7.
Yeah, wow. So wow, okay. Yeah, so I mean, pretty consistent across the board right now for the Fraser Valley communities. Anecdotally, I've noticed this. I don't know if you've noticed this too, but I feel like the entry level stuff is starting to see a little bit more action for sure. And foot traffic, whether it's private showings, that sort of thing, but like condominiums specifically, and this is where I'm kind of interested in the market, is first time buyers have been gone for 3 years, right? They've been very, very few and far between. They are the dominoes that knock down the rest of the market. So as an example, like what's been happening for the last couple of years is like it's people like you and me and everybody else that they're trying to sell their homes, trying to trade property with each other.
That's it.
But the problem is nobody can go first because nobody can, like, not nobody, but like most people, it's a subject to sale environment. I can't buy your house unless I sell mine, or vice versa. It's a big trading of properties, but nobody's actually knocking down the first step of the domino. Those first-time home buyers seem to be a little more active than they once were. Would you agree with that?
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah, like we've had some that have come to us for help recently, a lot more than where, that's been in the last little while. And I'm curious, like, we've got improved interest rates from where we've been. We've got improved inventory from where we've been. You certainly just showed that prices have come down from where they were. They're starting to create maybe those conditions where people say this feeling like it makes a little more sense right now. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm seeing out there. My curious kind of question is, does that start knocking down other dominoes in the real estate market?
Yeah. Well, it feels to me, and you can comment on it too. It feels like we're in a bottleneck here. So you have your property ladder. So it starts from your studio to one beds, and then it goes up to your, call it, forever home, right? So you have the people who are going to retire and then downsize. That's kind of the end of the property ladder. And the beginning of the property ladder is, you're right, the first time home buyers are the new to the market, where you're going into the one bed. So if you eliminate the one bed and the new, or will come the first time home buyers, but you also have the people who are holding on to their property at the very final end. Well, now you have two ends that won't move, therefore causing the stagnation of where we are in the bottleneck.
Right.
So we've touched on the first time home buyers, but we also haven't touched on the we'll call them baby boomers, because a lot of them are holding property and they don't want to go into the condos. They don't want to give up their yard or give up their lawn, or yard and lawn are the same thing, but they don't want to give up the maintenance of a home, because they come from a very proud generation.
Yeah.
Like, this is my house. This is your, it's the curb appeal. That's what was important. Not so much now. So now you have someone who wants to hold on to their property and not want to go into a condo where everything's taken care of. But you're also missing the first part, which is the first time home buyers.
Right.
So how do you fix that?
Yeah.
That's kind of where I feel that bottleneck's hitting as well too.
Yeah, well, you could be right. I mean, there's so much product out there for condominiums on the market. Like the Wally neighborhood is just like a very, very difficult neighborhood to sell a condominium. So, there's certainly lots of inventory. And, one of the questions that a lot of people have had too is, well, is it the right inventory? Like everyone's got their price points, right? In real estate, I get that it's expensive for some people, but most people with a job can still get into some sort of real estate. Now, whether that is appropriate for their needs is a different question, right? But nonetheless, there's a lot of stuff that's available right now. But there's a lot of people just sitting, waiting, and watcher as well. But I mean, to be fair, the narrative is that if it's going to be cheaper tomorrow, why would I buy it today? Right.
Sure.
So fair enough. Like, and again, back to my rant earlier, you have to decide what the risks are of waiting versus not. Right. But once those people come in, they start, that one bedroom now sells the 2-bedroom condo, which now sells the 2-bedroom townhouse, which sells the bigger townhouse, which sells now into the detached. And it gets this chain of sales going, sorry, which can flip the market like that. Exactly. Right. Which can absolutely flip the market. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Who knows what's going to happen, but yeah, we'll wait and see.
There you go.
Did we do your stats?
We did.
We did. Okay. I'm going now.
We did the 3 months and the 1 year. So.
Okay. All right. Let's do your questions here. Let's have some fun.
Okay. Why don't you take a break here? So what are the rules? So rules here is 30 seconds, no BS take. Might say something wrong, might say something right. It's kind of up to you. So we are going to try our best to answer them.
Please don't cancel Adam.
Yeah.
Okay. As he says,
I actually like to work in real estate.
What's your son? Okay, so you're taking which one? I'm taking buyer's question. Okay, so I'm asking you the buyer.
That's right. I got 30 seconds. You start, stop it, and we'll just keep rapid fire from there.
I might change these up on the fly. Oh, you already ran though. Oh my goodness. All right. 30-second countdown. Question number 1.
Okay.
Is it better to buy first or wait until rates drop?
Ooh, great question. I think at the specific point, if we are in a environment like we have now, we don't know what's going to happen in a few months, but if that interest rate gets dropped, that is going to put everyone who's on the fence, and they're going to now move it into, hey, let's actually do something territory, which then you start getting a few more people, just like you were saying earlier. Now the real popular properties are going to be starting bidding on, which we have seen at like anecdotally as much as the stats have, but we are going to see more.
Oh, all right. So you're done. Okay. How much do I really need for a down payment?
So 5%, below 500,000. And then between 500,000 and I think it's 1.5 now.
Yeah.
We're now in between, I think it's 10%. And then you'll have to correct me where the 15% comes in. But then anything over 1.5 is now a 20%.
Question number 3. What's the difference between pre-approval and pre-qualification?
Awesome. Pre-qualification is when you walk into your bank and you go, hey, I want to buy a property. And they go, okay, what's your income? What's your assets? What's your liabilities? Go out and buy. Or pre-approval is they start getting job letters, they start getting the actual documents you need to purchase. They then give you a very accurate number, which then you go out. It's better to verify documents than submitting documents. And I feel a lot of people go that way, where it's easier to just say, hey, this is what I can buy, and then they submit documents. Best case forward, submit your documents, get the approval, and then buy something.
Or you verily got that one. Snuck by. Bonus point. Do most people go shopping when they get a pre-approval or a pre-qualification? And that's wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Do it the right way, please. Don't let your mortgage professional be lazy.
For a mortgage
And most are. I don't want to say that, but make sure you get your proper pre-approval.
coming down.
If you don't know, don't
Yourself train, you appreciate it.
Okay, number 4. How do I know if a home is actually a good deal?
Oh, great. So you take what the condition is, and then you do a market analysis from there. So we call it a comparative market analysis. You get a good baseline price for it. Best thing that you want to do is take that price, consider it to the asking price, and go, hey, this is a great value because it has X, Y, Z. It marks all of your boxes. And if you can get it for under the price that it's valued at, it's a pretty dang good deal.
What is more important, asking price or value?
Value.
Boom. Question number 5. What makes an offer stand out to a seller? You're not going to get that one.
No, I'm not. So what I notice is that turns that are favorable to the seller will more likely go. So we're talking about closest to the asking price. We've seen times where actually deposits to the seller will beat out someone where the deposit gets held in trust. And then also from there, if the dates align with what the sellers want to do. So there are multiple parts about the offer that can actually be beneficial. It's not just always the asking price. So there's also different parts of the contract that they may see, but may seem more favorable than just the asking price.
No, you're right. There's a lot of things that a seller is considering, and price is a big one, but it's not always
The only one, correct.
All right, cool. I got 30 seconds.
All right, man. If it's so hard, I'll say this because we educate so much or want to educate so much. This is a lot harder because we're missing a lot of the point.
There's a lot.
We're trying to get it in. So
I agree.
don't get mad at us.
I didn't even pre-read them. I'm ready.
Oh, okay. Here we go. All right. And should I sell before I buy my next place?
Lord, no, please don't buy before you sell. You want to sell before you buy. In a market where a lot of people are quite unsure about what the value of their property is right now, let alone whether it'll actually transact. If you buy first, you could put yourself in a very precarious situation. You would also freeze the price of what you're buying and not let them succumb to the market changes while your home sitting on the market is going to experience all the market fluctuations.
Perfect. Well, 4 seconds ago. Okay. How do I know what my home is really worth?
You want to look at what you are competing against more so in today's market rather than what's sold, because that is what the buyers are looking at when they are making a decision whether they're actually going to go visit a property. And pricing too high simply means that you're not part of the conversation because they are not going to swim against the current and go investigate homes that look significantly more expensive than others that offer much better value that are characteristically similar.
5 seconds ago. Wow, you're dialed in. What's like I got the picture over. What's the best time of year to sell in BC?
That's actually a fallacy. I wouldn't say there's actually any really better time than others. There's just different circumstances. I can tell you the pros of selling in the winter versus the pros of selling in the spring, and all seasons have their different opportunities. So I actually wouldn't say that there's a specific time frame.
Fair enough. Let me ask you one then, because we have 12 seconds. What is your favorite market to sell in?
I like selling in January, which is in the winter months, because nobody else is doing it. And, there's great quotes about if you want what everybody else has, obviously copy them, but going against the grain is obviously better than doing a lot of things.
So, well, thanks for the bonus answer there. Okay, how much should I spend on staging or upgrades? But I'm going to say instead of upgrades, we'll say renovations as well.
Or is this in the context of selling a home? Correct. Okay, so there's only a few things that really kind of punch above their weight in terms of investment. That's typically floors and painting, unless there is something that is so obviously needing to be done and it's been overlooked or it's just so beat up and it's creating a really big issue. Most of the times, putting money into something, you're really gambling with that money, hoping you're going to get it back or even win and get more with it. Oftentimes, it's just better to deal with that in your asking price rather than try and gamble that.
Fair. Boom. We're at 30. I'm kneeling. Yeah. Excellent. Professional amateur here. That's how it works. So what's the biggest mistake sellers make when listing?
Biggest mistake sellers make when listing. Two, one, I feel that a lot of people don't interview their professional. They don't ask the right questions, and all professionals are different. They offer, different plans, different results that they produce. I think that's one big one that's quite apparent in the marketplace. The other one is they price their home thinking that they can always negotiate it down, and they just are a ghost to the actual buyers out there. They really impact themselves because buyers don't even see this part of the conversation. There you go. That was 31.
That was 31 seconds. All right, guys. He is disqualified. You're qualified.
That was fun. I like that.
Yeah. So we'll find and we'll see kind of as this goes by, we'll get other questions too. Cause I bet there's a ton of questions, especially within our industry, and having those ask me anythings. I try to stay away from some of the politically charged ones and stuff like that because we're not trying to be canceled here. So these are the very entry level questions where maybe you don't have time to sit through one of our 15-minute videos on YouTube or even some shorts, but this can help at least get the tail end of our monthly stats and give you something that you maybe learned maybe along the way too. So
Yeah, 100%. So for anybody watching this, listening to this, if you need help navigating the market, you like my very direct or I just very direct styles, obviously, then we'd be happy to have a conversation with you and see if we can show you in a position to be successful for whatever your goals are. Don't forget to check out the Instagram, the new Instagram. There's some really good stuff on there. Really, really education packed, short, bite-sized sort of stuff. There's some funny stuff, as we said. Subscribe and follow the podcast. So if you don't have time to sit and watch a long form video like this on YouTube, go listen to us on the podcast. Drive to work, listen to it, and I think you'll really enjoy it. We put some really good content on here. So
that's right. And we can't fail to mention we do put out 2 videos or the 3 videos now a week.
Usually 2 long form on
2 long form on YouTube, which it is packed with educational content, and it's actually what we're getting calls on. Where we're actually getting a lot of people who will watch 20, 30, 40, 50 videos and go, hey, we love the content you put out. Let's have a deeper conversation. So
yeah, well, and previous to what I was talking about, a lot of it is like, hey, you look like a Surrey and White Rock and specialist, and we are. But we also are still selling everywhere else, and we haven't given up and forgotten all that. No, and so, anyways, we'll bring that up again as well, so everybody knows. But, anyways, man, that was a fun one. Thank you for the questions. That was
yeah, man. Well, looking forward to the next one.
all right. Cheers.
There we go. See ya.